Yo, what is going on, guys? We're back here today with another Pokemon Sword and Shield video, and this time we're going to be discussing the strongest Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield, the top 10 and even more, basically the biggest threats in the game right now that came with Sword and Shield. And yeah, I mean, I haven't done a video like this in a long time, but we just got the usage statistics for November. The game's only been out for 2 weeks, but we finally got the usage stats, and they were pretty interesting to me. I mean, it was more or less what I expected. You can see Dragapult and Darm at the top, and I wanted to talk about how these are the top 10 most powerful mons in the game right now, and then, 11 through 31, the other ones that, are OU. So we finally have our first look at Gen 8 OU, and I figured we could break this down, so let's just hop into it. Before we do that, I do gotta say that the merch is still live. The Agency Champion Collection, only 2 days left, and then these hoodies and these crews, this design is not coming back, so don't sleep. Go check it out. We got hoodies, different colors, t-shirts, crew necks, oh shit, all that good stuff. And yeah, like I said, only 2 days left. Don't be a kid, be an agent. Go cop that, and let's hop into it. So let's look at this right off the bat, first of all. So these are the usage stats for November. We finally got a true top 10, and I'm really not surprised. About a week and a half ago, me and Moet were talking, and we're like, yup, the 3 most annoying Pokemon are the 3 Ds, Darmanitan, Dragapult, and Ditto. And then look at the top 3 usage, and they're all very close in usage too. So I guess we can just go off of this first. Technically, the #1 strongest Pokemon is Dragapult. I'm actually quite surprised that this thing is #1. While Dragapult is definitely good, I don't think it's good enough to be #1. I mean, it's good, but I think it's very overrated. It's very overrated to me. I think that Darmanitan is a little bit better. I think Darmanitan is easily the best Pokemon in the game. Like, that thing is like truly one of the hardest Pokemon to deal with its ability, the ability to run Scarf and Band. It's the perfect lead in like every single game. It's just too much. It's just too much. And I'm looking at a lot of my teams right now, and I mean, you guys know how much I hate using Darm and playing against it. It's a complete menace. I'm not talking about the Zen mode set. That set is kind of gimmicky. I'm talking about Scarf and Band, especially Scarf. Scarf has very little counterplay to begin with. It's very good versus offense. I think it's a little bit better than Band. Band just kills everything, but at least if it's Banned, you don't have to worry about it outspeeding your whole team. This is the classic Scarf Darm. Icicle Crash, Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Earthquake, menace to deal with. Extremely high attack thanks to Guerrilla Tactics. The coverage is amazing. The moves it gets are amazing. Icicle Crash has a flinch chance, which is so annoying because it always flinches through. Like, there are very few mons in general that can take 2 Icicle Crashes from Darm, but then when they can take like 2, you just flinch through and then you're fucked. Honestly, Darm is without a doubt the strongest Pokemon to me in the metagame. Yeah, I mean, this thing is more broken than Dynamax to me. Like, honestly, Dynamax and Gigantamax are broken, but I think Darm is like just as broken as that, if not even worse. That shit is beyond annoying. But yeah, so I'm not really surprised about Darm being in the top 2. It's so close to Dragapult. Like, it's like basically the same percent, but Dragapult beat it by a little bit. But honestly, I say Darm's better, and definitely the most powerful Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield, by far. Then we got Dragapult next. Now, I feel like people are overrating this mon. I'm not going to say that it's bad, because I use it a shit ton. I've used it a ton lately. I have a lot of teams with it. And honestly, I think that's just because it's a good staple mon. I mean, its special attack is pretty mediocre, but the speed is great. It gets great moves. Its typing is good. Infiltrator is a great ability. It's just, like, it's a good Pokemon, like, in general. I mean, its special attack stat really isn't that good, and for the most part, people are running a special set, but the physical set is not bad either. The Dragon Dance, Dragon Darts, Phantom Force, Sucker Punch, all that good stuff. That's a pretty potent set as well. For the most part, though, people are just running specs because you're able to Dynamax Dragapult, and then you have really nice coverage and that kind of thing. And just in general, Spec Shadow Ball is really nice to throw out. There's not a lot of things that can switch into Shadow Ball besides Tyranitar, Grimmsnarl, stuff like that. For the most part, I don't even think I really used physical. Have I? This one's physical, right? Oh, this one screens. Damn. Have I used physical? I feel like I have. Here we go. I used this Sub DD Dragon Darts Phantom Force. This set was really, really nice as well. You can run Sucker Punch over Sub, but personally, I like Substitute. It helps versus Ditto. Dragon Darts is very powerful. 250 base power moves, so it's effectively 100 base power, and it hits twice, so you can beat Sub that way. And then Phantom Force, not too high base power, but I mean, it is what it is. Behind a Sub, it's a pretty safe move. I like this set a lot. Physical Dragapult is very slept on. I feel like people are only running Specs, and Specs is great, but people should really try out physical as well. I'm not surprised Dragapult's this high up in usage. I mean, everyone's using it. It's like the new cool mon, like, that's been revealed, the new Fire Dragon. Like, it's awesome. But I mean, I'm pretty surprised that it's almost 35% usage. It's not it's not 35% good if you ask me. It's good, but let the metagame develop a little bit, we won't see this thing as much, for sure. For sure, this thing is not even like top 3 in the metagame after the metagame develops a little bit. But for now, I can understand it being at the top. Ditto, number 3. This, for me, is the sign of an unhealthy metagame. Truly, this is the sign of an unhealthy metagame. Ditto being at number 3 with 33% usage, and also I checked on Smogon's site, and 1800 and up, Ditto has 42% usage, which means on almost every other team there's a Ditto. It has 33% for the whole ladder, but when you go 1800 up, high ladder, it's 42% Ditto usage, and that's because Dynamax and Gigantamax are beyond broken, and Ditto's like your best way of dealing with it. Think about how many times you've lost a random Gyarados that's just gone for max Airstream, max Geyser, it's racked up the Moxie boosts, and then you're like, well, I lose, like I just can't do anything, it's getting too fast and it's getting too many attack boosts. Well, you just staple Ditto on your team, you turn into Gyarados, then you use your Dynamax, and it's done, it's a wrap. And I feel like that's been what's happening. A lot of people are dealing with Dynamax just by saving their Ditto or whatever, and that's pretty unhealthy to me, because if something is so broken that you literally need to use Ditto to become that broken thing to have a shot, that's definitely a problem. Ditto should never be at the top of the metagame to me. And I don't know, maybe that sounds like I'm just making some arbitrary rules, but I think it makes sense to me. Like, if like a metagame is so offensive that you have to run Ditto to become that threat to have a chance, well, that's stupid. That's like Ditto's almost a necessity at the high ladder. Like 42% usage was ridiculous to me, but I understand because Dynamax and Gigantamax are such a big threat. Definitely more Dynamax. And I mean, I have a ton of teams with Ditto as well. I was using Ditto on the Caparaja team, and it helped a lot every time I was gonna, get smoked by a Gyarados or something like that. Even a Dragapult that, Dynamax, and I couldn't kill it, and it was taking out everybody. Sometimes I'd have to send out my Ditto and just, scare that thing out. And I mean, it's great. Ditto's great for stopping some of these offensive guys, but it's pretty insane to me that it's at 33% usage. I'm not surprised it's at the top of the usage, just because, again, there's a lot of strong shit. Dynamax and all that is very powerful, so it makes sense. But it's definitely concerning to me that this thing is number 3 in usage. But nevertheless, it definitely deserves its spot. It could have even been number 1 or number 2, and I wouldn't have been surprised. I really thought Darm would be number 1. If you ask me for my order, Darm is the best, then Ditto, then Dragapult. I'm very surprised that Dragapult beats these two, but whatever. Either way, those 3, easily the 3 strongest Pokemon in Sun and Moon. I mean, in Sword and Shield OU, easily. Number 4, Excadrill. Kind of surprised by that, honestly, kind of surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised Drill's top 10, but I am surprised that it's number 4 with nearly 33% usage, which means it's on 1 in every 3 teams. Looking at my teams that have Excadrill, I mean, maybe it's because Rapid Spin is so good, and it is so good. You can run Swords Dance as well. Most of mine are either Swords Dance, Rock Slide, which turns into max Rockfall, so you can destroy Rotom and Corviknight and shit like that, or I just run Rapid Spin Leftovers. Not much to say about Drill. I mean, it really only runs 2 sets. I haven't seen Scarf or any of that bullshit lately. Yeah, it's really good. Rapid Spin's buff is really nice as well. Mold Breaker, Earthquakes. But I do think that the one problem with Excadrill is that it's beaten by Corviknight. I feel like people know that as well, especially if it's U-turn Corviknight, because you can come in on Drill, take the +2 hit, and just U-turn out. However, thanks to Dynamaxing, +2 Life Orb, max Rockfall will absolutely destroy Corviknight. Same thing with Rotom Wash. I remember I was playing with a Sand team, and I had Excadrill with Life Orb, Rock Slide. Dude sent out Rotom Wash because I didn't have Mold Breaker, but I just went for max Rockfall, and it's 140 base power, backed by Life Orb, backed by 400 attack from Excadrill. What do you think is going to happen? Like, everything gets messed up. So I'm not too surprised with Drill being top 10. However, 1 in 3 teams is pretty good. Maybe that's just because Rapid Spin is so good when Drill uses it. Like, it turns it into a sweeper almost. And in general, when you Dynamax Excadrill, you get a lot of mileage out of it as well, with max Steel Spike and max, I forgot what the ground move's called, but it's 130 base power. With Life Orb, it boosts Spadef, I think. I don't remember, but yeah, it's pretty effective. Corviknight number 5. Now, Corviknight is really good. Corviknight is really, really good. Top 3 with Darm and Dragapult. As for the new Pokemon from the new game, Ditto and Excadrill were obviously in previous generations, but Corviknight is extremely good. It has a number of viable sets. I mean, I've used Bulky with U-turn and what? I've used Bulk Up, Brave Bird, Roost, Power Trip. I've used Bulk Up Sub with some defense with no Power Trip. I've used Defog, U-turn, Brave Bird, Roost, a bulkier set. In general, this thing is able to do a lot, but this is the set that really scares everybody, I think. Brave Bird, Sub, Bulk Up, Roost. This thing's natural bulk is pretty decent, because if you look at Corviknight's stats off the rip, they're not that good. Like, they're okay, but when you, I guess, give it max HP and max speed, it's a lot bulkier than you'd think, because the HP is actually pretty decent. The Fizz Def is decent too, and the typing is great. Flying Steel will always be good typing. Think about the mons we've had in the past. Celesteela, amazing. Skarm, amazing. And now this is like the sweeper equivalent. It's funny, because Skarm was like physically defensive, layup hazards. Celesteela could actually have been offensive last year, but, I mean, not last year, but last gen, there was a Totemize and Beast Boost, but for the most part, people just ran a bulky wall set, and now Corviknight, which can still do the bulky wall roll, but the offensive set's very dangerous as well. And I mean, of course, we all know what happens when you Dynamax Corviknight and it gets all those Brave Bird speed boosts, and it turns into a very hard Pokemon to deal with, especially because once you Dynamax this thing, it's really hard to kill in one shot. Like, I don't think this thing can even be killed in one shot, unless you have, like, Charizard in the Sun Overheat or something like that, or my special +6 Z Darmanitan or whatever. But nevertheless, yeah, Corviknight up there. I'm not surprised. I think Corviknight is really good at removing hazards too. The Defog U-turn set has done a lot of good for me. Yeah, but for the most part, all my teams have the sub bulk up set. I'm just looking for the one where I had the U-turn one, because I did use it. But yeah, here we go. So this is the one I used. Spadef, Brave Bird, Defog, U-turn, Roost. This set did the job for me, honestly. It's pretty good at hazard removal, all things considered. It's able to switch into Clef as long as that thing's not Flamethrower. And yeah, I mean, it's nice. I like Corviknight. It's just a solid mon in general. It's nothing too crazy, and you know exactly what it's going to do whenever you play it, which is cool. Ferrothorn number 6. CTC told me that he thought Ferrothorn was going to be the best Pokemon in Sword and Shield, period, when the game came out. And I was like, that's an interesting take. I'm not surprised Ferrothorn's top 10. I mean, it's like a top 10 mon in Gen 5, Gen 6, and Gen 7, arguably. Well, in Gen 5 and Gen 6 for sure. Gen 7, it's debatable. But yeah, I've been running a lot of Ferrothorn. It's like the premier spiker of the generation, and it's able to take on so many big-ass threats in the metagame, like Drako Vish, for example, Draco Zolt. It's able to at least sponge a hit from those menacing-ass Pokemon, get up spikes, get up Leech Seed, all that good stuff. I mean, it does what it always did. It does what it always did. If it's not broke, don't fix it, and Ferrothorn really doesn't need to change up what it does in this game. I mean, it always does the same thing, but it's always very, very solid. It's the premier water resist of the generation. There's nothing really left to say. Even Gyarados has the new Max Airstream to deal with it, but with Max Fizz Def, oh, whoops, is this Max Fizz Def? Yep, with Max Fizz Def, Ferrothorn's actually able to take a +2 Max Airstream, which is ridiculous, but it can take it. It can take a +2 attack Max Airstream, so Ferrothorn is one of the few things that can take at least a hit from Gyarados, chip it with Toxic, Leech Seed, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about Ferrothorn. Walls a lot of shit. Gets up spikes. It's a great support mon, always will be. Rotom Wash to 7. Of course, this bastard had to come back. This thing's always putting in work. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I've used it that much. I have like one team with it, and it's just Scarf. A lot of people are running Scarf. Mostly are running Scarf. I have seen the Berry that recovers HP when you get low, like a Guava or whatever, which is good. I like Trick Scarf a lot as well. So you can cripple something, and this thing is also nice because it's able to outspeed +1 Gyarados, hit it with a Volt Switch, hit a threat with a Scarf Will-O-Wisp. It's not bad at all. And you can also Dynamax Rotom, which is really nice. Rotom, as we all know, has pretty good natural defenses, 107, 107. And when you Dynamax the shit, it gets a lot more HP too. It would be 482 HP if we Dynamax this. So you're actually able to take hits from Hawlucha, Gyarados, stuff like that, Revenge Kill with Max Lightning. A pretty underrated tech, pretty underrated. Dynamaxing Rotom Wash is not a bad thing at all. Even Rotom Heat is quite good. For similar reasons, able to check Darmanitan and shit like that. See, running Scarf here as well. Well, this one's Nasty Plot Scarf, so you can Dynamax and then go for your sweep at +2. But you guys get the point. Rotom will always do what it does. It plays support. It's able to annoy stuff like Toxapex, Corviknight, outspeed and take out Gyara, stuff like that. But Rotom can also be a double-edged sword because there are a lot of threats in the current metagame that Rotom lets in for free. Dragalge comes in for free. Life Orb Clefable, huge threat, comes in for free. Sub Nasty Plot Hydreigon can come in for free, so it's not without its problems, just like every other gen. Gyarados at number 8. Honestly, very surprising to me. I thought Gyarados would have been top 5. This thing is a fucking menace. Yeah, this is my least favorite mon to run into after Darmanitan. It's so tough to deal with. I mean, you guys know what this thing does. It runs Dragon Dance, and then it runs what? Waterfall, Bounce, Power Whip. Yep, this is what you do. You can use Heavy Duty Boots, or you can use Life Orb, or you can use whatever. I usually run Boots. But I have gotten smashed by Life Orb before because +2 or +1 Max Airstream with Life Orb is the most broken, powerful attack ever. But yeah, there's not really much to say. You can run Earthquake to hit like Draco Zolt and shit, but like, who cares? Power Whip is usually better coverage. Bounce and Waterfall is all you really need because Bounce will give you your +1 speed. Max Geyser will set up the range so that your like next Max Geyser is like so powerful it Okos Ferrothorn. Yeah, you guys know my opinion on this thing. Such a good sweeper. It's the best setup sweeper to me in the metagame. It's better than Drill. It's better than Corviknight. I think it gets buckets way quicker than those two do. It's not as good as Darm, because Darm is able to just kill everything off the rip. But Gyarados is still pretty amazing. Yup, DD, Dynamax, it is what it is. Hydreigon. Okay, so the only set that I have ever played that, like, scared me from Hydreigon is Nasty Plot Sub. Is this Nasty Plot Sub? No, this one's Scarf. Yeah, Nasty Plot Sub, Dark Pulse, Flash Cannon. I think that set is really good. What is this? Is this it? Yup, this is the set. This set is really, really good. And a lot of my teams straight up fold to it. First of all, if this team played this Hydreigon, it would lose. It would lose. Hippowdon gets beaten. Pex gets beaten. Dragapult obviously gets beaten because Dark Pulse kills it and it'll have a sub up. Well, Infiltrator, so, I mean, I guess it can scare out Hydreigon, but you guys get the point. It can't switch in. Corviknight will also lose 1v1 because once you Dynamax your Hydreigon and you got these +2 Max Darknesses coming out, it's really hard to beat. This thing is awesome. I really like this mod. Dark Pulse and Flash Cannon are cool because Ditto can't revenge kill you. Because you don't have a dragon move, you actually beat Ditto 1v1, which is pretty nice, even if they come in as your +2. And then Dark plus Steel coverage is honestly kind of enough to take on most teams. Like, you should be able to get 1 or 2 kills at least with Hydreigon versus most builds. I mean, there will always be teams that have like Scarf Darmanitan that's able to scare you out and shit like that. But for the most part, like, look at this team, for example. This team, oh, this team's actually kind of crazy. But this team could get dealt with. I mean, I guess I have a Tech Mew with Cobra Berry, but I don't know. Assume it's something else. Ferrothorn, Toxapex, those bulkier type Pokemon, and even Excadrill, who's not bulkier, but it's slower. And I'm thinking of all types of offensive Pokemon that are kind of slow, like Toxtricity, Corviknight, shit like that. Hydreigon can really just get a +2 with its natural bulk and sweep through any team. So I'm happy that thing's at number 9. It's good. And then Pex at number 10. Classic shit. Classic shit. Walls, everything still. I mean, yeah. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. This thing, it's not like it's a surprise that this thing is still top 10. But yeah, these are top 10 of the metagame right now. More or less what everyone expected. It sucks that Ferrothorn, Rotom, and Pex are here still and in the top 10. But, I mean, like I said, if they were good before, they're obviously going to be good now. So let's go through the other ones just a little bit because, I mean, they show all of them. This is a really nice graphic that Smogon made for their usage for who's OU this year, or this metagame. Number 11, Aegislash, one of my all-time faves. I really like what they did with Aegislash. They nerfed it a little bit, even made King Shield less good. And I think that's great because I really hope it can stay in this metagame, even though it's always been really good in the past and had to have been banned. But some of the sets I've been using Choice Band, which Fuga made and passed me. Crazy set. Shadow Sneak, Head Smash, Close Combat, Iron Head. This thing can really hit. Head Smash, Okos, Mandibuzz. Iron Head, Twit KOs, specially defensive Hippo. Not physically defensive, but specially defensive. Shadow Sneak is just very strong priority, capable of Okoing Dragapult and shit like that. And then Close Combat is able to absolutely destroy one-hit KO Ferrothorn. And yeah, I mean, this set is nice. It's funny because this isn't King Shield, but it does put in a ton of work. What else have I run? This one's King Shield, or is this Bandit 2? No, that one's Bandit 2 because it's on Fugas. Let me look, because I have a regular King Shield set too. Is this one King Shield? Yup, King Shield, Shadow Ball, Flash Cannon, Close Combat. So yeah, another offensive set, taking use of King Shield. You can always tech Shadow Sneak or whatever you want on here, but this set is very hard to deal with. Look at this team, for example. It's going to have trouble switching in. Flash Cannon will take care of Grimmsnarl, CC can take care of Hydreigon, and of course, thanks to its naturally good defenses, it's able to take a Dark Pulse from Hydreigon, a Darkest Lariat from Grimmsnarl, whatever the case is. It can take an Earthquake from Conk, threaten that. It's nice. I even had a set where I was running Steel Beam, which is 140 base power, special steel move, cuts your HP in half. That thing's able to just, you know, one-hit KO most, like, neutral stuff. It's awesome. But yeah, Aegislash, glad it's back. It's pretty cool. The Hatterene, annoying-ass Pokemon. When I use it, it does nothing. When it's used against me, oh my god, 5 kills minimum. Yeah, this thing is annoying. Extremely bulky pick. Extremely bulky pick. This is a trick room I have with it. But yeah, I mean, the special attack is sky high. It's even stronger than Tapu Lele, which is hilarious. And it basically turns into Tapu Lele because once you Dynamax it or whatever, then its psychic move brings the terrain. So it basically is Tapu Lele of Gen 8 to me when it brings the terrain. And then Mystical Fire and Dazzling Gleam roll out the coverage. It's just, it's really hard to deal with. Especially Trick Room is really tough. Calm Mind Gigantamax is also pretty good, but this set is definitely a demon. Definitely a demon. Psychic, Fairy, Fire coverage is pretty great. It's pretty hard to deal with this thing just because its natural bulk allows it to take most hits, and Psychic Fairy is really excellent typing in the metagame. It's really hard to kill in one hit, especially when it Gigantamaxes. But yeah, I like this Pokemon. It's really good. It makes sense why it's OU. Clef at 13. Okay, the only Clef that I'm worried about in this metagame is Life Orb. Life Orb Clef is a gigantic threat. Gigantic threat. This shit right here, oh my god, this thing puts the hurt on team. Look at my team. Look at my team. I get owned by this. I literally get owned by this. Surfetch'd can't kill, dead. Dragapult can't kill, dead. Ferrothorn, dead. Mandibuzz, dead. Hippo, 2-hit KO, dead. My Clef, 2-hit KO, dead. Like, bulky teams really cannot deal with this. Most teams just can't deal with it. Like, even look at this team. Even look at this team. Okay, this team does have things that can kill it. Darmanitan 10 does like 85%. Drill will kill it, etc. But it's still a threat. Mew gets 2-hit KO'd, can't KO it. Ferrothorn, Oko, Toxapex, 2-hit KO. Tyranitar takes a shit ton. Like, if it gets a free switch in, it's really hard to switch around. I really like this Copperajah team because Toxtricity can switch in a couple times, which is pretty nice, and threaten it immediately. But if I didn't have Toxtricity, it would be over. Look at this team, for example. Completely smashed by Life Orb Clef. If it has Flamethrower, it's GG, because then I can't even go to Corviknight and try to like dodge Fire Blast. No, I'm screwed. Hydreigon dead, Dragapult dead, Pex 2-hit KO, and then these two will not be able to take it. So Life Orb Clef, very good set. If you need a breaker, you should try that out. Grimmsnarl, I've used like all Grimmsnarls. I've used the Bulk Up Gigantamax edition, I've used dual screens, and I have used Assault Vest. I think that the dual screen set is probably its best set. That set is really good, like really good. Thanks to Prankster and its normal typing, not normal typing, but it's like Dark Fairy typing, which is able to resist most key stuff. And the fact that it can wall Dragapult, which is really underrated because everybody's using Dragapult, so it's pretty nice that Grimmsnarl can just switch in and cockblock that thing immediately. But yeah, Screens is great, and there's Priority Thunder Wave. Assault Vest is good too, but Assault Vest is hella weak, so I've kind of shied away from it lately. And then I used the Gigantamax set, didn't I? Where's the Gigantamax one I used? Yeah, with G-Max Snooze. Problem with this set is that Max Move Fairy sets up Misty Terrain so that your G-Max Snooze can't even put things to sleep because Misty Terrain stops that, which is kind of bullshit. They didn't think that through, but other than that, it's pretty good. I mean, my Grimmsnarl alive, this thing did a lot of work. Gigantamax set's pretty solid. So Screens and Gigantamax are my two favorite, but Assault Vest still has its place in the metagame. Cinderace, 15. Yeah, this mon owns. This mon owns. You always know what it's going to do. It's the most predictable mon ever. High Jump Kick, Pyro Ball, U-Turn, Court Change. But nevertheless, it's good. Its speed's really good. It's not that strong, but Pyro Ball is a nice move to spam. Agent Toad, number 16. Crying of happiness right now. Goat Stealth Rocker beats Dracovish, so I'm not even surprised. I mean, it loses to a lot of this shit. Loses to Rotom. I mean, it only beats Rotom, and it loses to like everybody else here. So that's kind of shitty, but it's just a good rocker, man. It's like the best rocker. We're at a point where we don't have too many ground types in the metagame, so it's funny that fucking Seismitoad had to step up and be the GOAT. I'm happy it did too, but yeah, I think Seismitoad's a great rocker. I have a team like right here with it. This is the set I've been running. Yeah, it's just good support. It's good at keeping them up. It's good at messing up Rotom Wash, and it's able to take one hit from most Pokemon. Stuff like Cinderace, for example, can't really hurt it. See, this set, for example, is hard walled by Seismitoad. It's nice. But yeah, I mean, this Seismitoad just gets up rocks. Corsola. Yeah, this thing is unkillable in one hit, really. People say that this is like the bulkiest mon, the one they hate the most, and honestly, I understand why. I was playing against Life Orb Excadrill, and it did 33% with Life Orb Earthquake. And I went for Strength Sap and went from 30% to 100. Strength Sap is such an insane move. Strength Sap is like the goatest move ever. I love that shit. It's able to just turn these threats into nothing. The fact that you can recover more than 50%, like I've seen this thing go from like 5% to 100. It's hilarious. This is the set I run. Nightshade, Stealth Rock, Strength Sap, Will-O-Wisp. Nothing to really worry about. This set can cover everything. Very good at getting up rocks. Natural bulk is amazing. It still does get threatened by stuff like Dragapult or whatnot, but stuff like Grimmsnarl, dude, I'm not worried about that shit. It can't even 2-hit KO me with its super effective move, and I easily Will-O-Wisp, Nightshade, stall it out. Good to go. Corsola is really good. Nice support mon. It is easy to take advantage of though. It doesn't have leftovers recovery. If you get statused, you're also doing a lot less work. But in general, it's hard to switch into something with Will-O-Wisp and Strength Sap, because Strength Sap is great because it drops their attack one stage, right? So in some cases, a Pokemon that is burned could just set up a bunch of times and still get through Corsola, but that's impossible with Strength Sap. Strength Sap is always dropping your attack and healing this thing back to full, and it has 16 PP. It's pretty tough to deal with this thing. Dracovish number 18. Yeah, your boy did that, but I mean, yeah, this thing is insane. I think it's going to get progressively worse as the metagame goes forward, just because Seismitoad's on like everyone's team. There's a reason Seismitoad's above it, because it walls it. And I mean, if this thing's not clicking Vicious Rend, it's kind of ass. You don't want to click Crunch. You don't want to click Psychic Fangs. You don't want to click any of that shit. You want to click Vicious Rend. But if you play a team that doesn't have a water immunity, and I say immunity, Ferrothorn, Toxapex, Rotom Wash, all that resistance shit goes out the window with Dracovish, as we all know. But yeah, I don't have to show my team with it. My vid's about to hit 100k views. Go run that up. Yeah, Dracovish, complete beast. If you play a team with no water resist, it's going to go crazy. It's going to look broken. Not resist, sorry, immunity. T-Tar at 19. Yeah, this thing will always be OU. It'll always be one of the best Pokemon of all time. Yeah, sets I've used are Choice Band and Dragon Dance. Dynamax T-Tar with Dragon Dance is extremely hard to beat. Extremely hard. In fact, I think it's one of the most slept on Pokemon in the metagame. CTC gave me this team, and it's Banded Tyranitar with Dragon Dance, which is epic. Because you can go for your Stone Edge Crunch superpower early game, and then you can click DD with the Choice Band, then Dynamax, and then go for Rockfall, Max Darkness, Max Knuckle, get a couple +1 boosts, then you're going back to Banded, but you got +1 speed, +2 attack, and your Bandit, it's just too much. It's just too much, homie. Tyranitar really goes in. This thing is awesome. Try Dynamax T-Tar. You will not be disappointed. Mandibuzz, been using that thing a lot with heavy duty boots, U-turn, foul play. It's able to check stuff like Hydreigon, Excadrill, Dragapult, whatnot. Heavy duty boots are like the best item it could have ever asked for. Really good mon. It's always good early meta. Toxtricity, I'm happy this thing is number 25. I feel like I've heard a lot of people shit talking this Pokemon, but it's excellent. Excellent mon. It can't touch Ferrothorn, which, you know, it is what it is, but Boom Burst, Sludge Wave, and then electric coverage is really, really good. And the typing is nice too. The fact that it resists fairy and electric is really nice. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of this mon. Pelipper 26. This is just for rain. Nothing else to say. Barraskewda 27. So I haven't used Barraskewda in a while. But if I were to say, make a list of the top 10 Pokemon from Sword and Shield that like were introduced in Sword and Shield, Barraskewda would definitely make it in there. So, this thing has Choice Band, Swift Swim. You basically just run this thing on Rain. I really haven't seen it too much on the ladder lately, but when you play it and they're using Rain, it's really tough. Insane natural speed, really good attack. Max Geyser when you become Dynamaxed is just really hard to deal with. Same with close combat that turns into Max Knuckle, Psychic Fangs, Max Airstream. This thing has a great move pool when Dynamaxed. You can run Life Orb too. This one's just Banded. I mean, it's just your classic Rain attacker. It's basically like Dracovish that can switch up moves, but it's weaker. Like, whatever. Conk, yeah. Conk, all he did was get Defog, and then, I mean, he's still good with Guts, Life Orb, but like, it's like whatever. I don't know. Conk's like whatever to me. It's okay. Sometimes it's good, but I've never lost more than like one Pokemon to Conk, unless I'm playing like the fattest, bulkiest bullshit that like cannot KO it whatsoever. Hawlucha 29. Hawlucha has the unique characteristic that when you Dynamax this thing, if you have Max Lightning with Unburden, then Ditto will not copy your speed boost because Ditto does not copy Unburden. Thus, Ditto cannot actually check Hawlucha and will die to it, and Hawlucha is able to bypass that completely, which is pretty cool. I still don't think Hawlucha is on Gyarados' level or T-Tar's level or a lot of these mons that's set up in Dynamax, but it's good. Rotom Heat, similar to Rotom Wash. Honestly, it's like the same shit. It's just a support, but not as good. Dracozolt 31. Okay. Oh wait, no, Dracozolt 27. Yeah, this thing's okay. My only problem with this thing, actually, no, I really like this mon. So I've been running Assault Vest, which is a set Fuga gave me, which I had a lot of luck with. I ran Scarf, which is alright, and I've ran sub 3 attack too. I feel like you need the dragon move, because otherwise you'll get walled by Hippo. CTC gave me a set with sub Fire Fang Earthquake, garbage set. But you really need the dragon move to take on Hippowdon. That's the one thing. Bolt Beak is really, really good. As you guys know, if you're faster, it does double damage, so 170 base power and Hustle. This thing is stronger than Dracovish, actually, because Hustle is more powerful than Strongjaw. Strongjaw is not 1.5. I'm pretty sure it's 1.3 or some shit. I don't know. If it is 1.5, then these guys are the exact same. But yeah. This thing can also set up terrain. So by going for its Dynamax, which is really nice, and it's really hard to kill. It's really hard to kill once you Dynamax, because its stats are like decent. But yeah, big fan of Dracozolt. Mimikyu, ass. Hated it before, hate it still, not even gonna say a thing. Dugtrio, it's okay. You can use like Dynamax Dugtrio. The Earthquake gives you a +1 Spadef, so you're able to deal with Clefable that way, but like, whatever. I don't really use this. Bisharp, underrated threat. This thing's really good. I feel like people should use it more. I got 3 teams with Bisharp. This is the one I was smoking everybody with that CTC made me. Really good. The reason I like this thing is because Bisharp's natural typing is really great. It's only weak to like ground, fighting, fire, and shit like that. And honestly, it's not that bad. Like, only the fighting weakness is that tough, because if you Dynamax, you're able to take earthquakes and flamethrowers anyway. The moves are really good, especially backed up by black glasses for Sucker Punch and Throat Chop. And then Iron Head rounds it off nicely because you're able to threaten Grimmsnarl and fairies such as Clefable. And the other thing is, Bisharp resists its own moves, so Ditto is not able to revenge kill you immediately, which is really good. So yeah, I really like Bisharp. Underrated sweeper. And then last is Togekiss. Yep, that thing just runs its max Airstream Thunder Wave bullshit Dynamax set. So these are basically the strongest Pokemon in Sword and Shield, though. Final thoughts? Can't wait till they ban Darmanitan. I think Dragapult's overrated and will fall in the future. Toxapex will get better once they ban Dynamax. And other than that, I guess we'll have to see. But hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Peace.